it be nice to come into one weekend and be able to say this great Republic of America just got freer, it became more powerful, it became more independent, but that's never the case, is it? Especially today. A storyline now surfacing, so crystal clear that it inspired the headline, if you want to call it inspiration. They got him. Trump, indictment imminent. We're going to explain why. Because Biden's FBI and DOJ just launched a dragnet of over 50 people, subpoenas issued, that give clarity to exactly what they're going after. And it has nothing to do with what you heard about Mar-a-Lago, by the way, at all. No, it beckons back to Pence and a storyline that was surrounding J6 that will now put everything into focus for you. My friends, this is an absolute red alert. This is different than anything we've seen. Now I'm going to quickly go into one of Lisa's sponsors, but I need you to hang in there because Lisa has a very special message for you, and I'm going to give that to you today. My name is Justice Knight. Can't thank you enough for being here, filling in for Lisa Haven. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, please do. If you haven't subscribed to mine, the link is just above. I can't tell you how much it means to me when you click on it and you join us over there also, because we don't know right now exactly how long any of this is going to be around, and you'll understand that statement here in just a few minutes. My Patriot Supply is sponsoring this video, and I need you to get to their website. Just go to preparewithlisa.com. There is an incredible offer out there right now. The best deal I've seen on their 3-month food supply kit, 3-month emergency food supply kit. I can go through all the specifics. This company is amazing. The product line, amazing. And right now, an astounding $250 off the 3-month emergency food supply kit. I can't tell you how relevant it is to what we're going to discuss today because, man, they're seizing control of everything. And if we're not compliant, they'll find new ways to make sure we are. So get to preparewithlisa.com. $250 off that 3-month emergency food supply kit. Get there now. Now, before I get to that special request from Lisa, I just want to frame this in. Because multiple subpoenas going out, which give crystal clarity to what's happening and what they're going after, and why we stated Trump indictment imminent. It all came into focus now. They launched this major dragnet all at one time, knowing the secret would come out.
Steve, can you reiterate that? You said there were 35 FBI raids yesterday. I consider myself well-read. I didn't see that anywhere. Can you elaborate on that?
Steve Bannon there, giving one of the initial indicating announcements about this storyline that is so much larger than that. Because it's above 35. Information leaking out from across the board. And we're going to not only take publications like Red State, we're going to go into the New York Times, who starts to name names. Bombshell report, dozens of Trump allies raided or served subpoenas by the FBI. Bannon going up to 35. Let's put it above 50. I told you, a dragnet, unlike anything we've seen.
The FBI is going to be serving 50 approximately search warrants and or subpoenas on Trump supporters. And then, within 24 hours of that, 3 of our clients actually did either get search warrants or subpoenas.
Pretty easy to frame in this when you follow it day by day and you see the indicators. You saw Tucker Carlson's face because he knows exactly what this means. He knows that he may very well be one of those on the list, because if you think it's going to stop with just Trump supporters, as she said, it's beyond that. There is a very specific storyline. One element they want covered, and they are searching high and low for the information. Did you happen to catch the other day when they said there will be more events like Mar-a-Lago? Because they're missing information they're looking for? Nuclear secrets, right? Hidden documents, classification, all BS in my opinion. They were looking for one specific bit of information to tie one storyline together, and these subpoenas gave it all away. You see here it's redacted, the name is redacted. Matthew M. Graves, United States Attorney, District of Columbia. Enclosed is a subpoena commanding your appearance as a witness before a federal grand jury. The grand jury consists of 16 to 23 persons from District of Columbia. There's actually 2 grand juries now. It's going to tie back to Liz Cheney again. I'm going to show you that here shortly. So we're going to frame this in with the New York Times. But before I do, Lisa wanted me to stop and give a quick pause here. And the reason being is you saw Tucker Carlson's face. You saw the shock, the concern, because he fully well knows conservative media will be now taken down, suppressed to limits you've not seen. We knew this years ago. Tucker Carlson knew this years ago. It's why we created RestrictedRepublic.com. And we need you to go there today, because we don't know when the lights will go off on the platforms you're watching this on right now. Well, that's ours. No commercials, no interruptions, nothing. Just stone cold, hard facts with fully researched and references always provided. 24-hour special. And we're calling it Red Alert on purpose because this is a red alert. Use that in annual as your annual discount code. And you're going to get $39 for 1 year. That's under $3.50 a month because you need the news that's about to break. And we don't know if we're going to be able to break it anywhere else. RestrictedRepublic.com. Discount code, annual checkout, Red Alert. Do us a huge favor today. And we know times are tight. It's why we're giving as deep of a discount as we are. So you still get the news you deserve, in the format you deserve, from hopefully the people you believe in, who've declared and watched this for so long. We know what's about to happen. Get over there today. It would mean the world to Lisa. It would mean the world to me. And trust me, when you're there, you'll see it's everything you've been looking for. But now let's get back to the story. New York Times, 2 top Trump political aides among those subpoenaed in January's 6 case. Stephen Miller, a senior policy advisor, and Brian Jack, who served as White House political director, are among those who received requests for information this week from a federal grand jury. So we're going to rip through this, and there is some detail just to validate the discussion that we're bringing up. The Justice Department has subpoenaed 2 former top White House political advisors under President Donald J. Trump as part of a widening investigation related to Mr. Trump's post-election fundraising and plans for so-called fake electors, according to people briefed on the matter. And that fake elector storyline is going to permeate this entire broadcast. And you're going to see all the cast of characters from Giuliani to Eastman to now Miller and many, many more, over 50, looking for that specific detail. Brian Jack, the final White House political director under Mr. Trump, and Stephen Miller, Mr. Trump's top speechwriter, and his senior political advisor were among those and more than a dozen people connected to former president to receive subpoenas from a federal grand jury this week. Remember, 2 grand juries. One will be relating to the money they're saying he collected due to the claims that he made about the election. That will be the final storyline. The subpoena seeks information in connection with the Save America Political Action Committee and a plan to submit slates of electors pledged to Mr. Trump from swing states that were won by Joseph R. Biden Jr. in the 2020 election. Mr. Trump and his allies promoted the idea that competing slate of electors would justify blocking or delaying certification of Mr. Biden's Electoral College win during a joint session of Congress on January 6th of 2021. Oh, it was about the J6 event. It's all been distractions. It's all been a ruse. Now you go back to Pence's statements about the electors and you start to understand exactly what they've been targeting the entire time. It is the one that they're going to hang their hat on, in our humble opinion. We can go down further. Numerous subpoenas focused solely on the fake elector plan were sent to Republican state lawmakers and state Republican officials allied with Mr. Trump starting this spring. Many of those involved in the midterm elections, by the way. Just to keep this in very clear focus. Those subpoenas were signed by Thomas P. Wyndham, a veteran federal prosecutor who had been leading the inquiry into the scheme. Last month, the example, both Mr. Wyndham and Ms. Dorman filed appearances in a case brought by the lawyer John Eastman, one of the architects of the fake electoral scheme. He's trying to get his phone back, right? His cell phone. I told everyone that trial was paramount. That is what they were looking at. That is what they've been targeting. Stephen Miller says an alternate set of electors will certify Trump as winner. This is what they've been looking at. And now they have nearly everything they need. What did they find in those seized documents from Mar-a-Lago? Oh, that's right. It was all about foreign nations and collusion and money and nuclear secrets, right? I don't think so, my friends. I think they were looking for something entirely different. And they are so well versed in distracting the American public from the real storyline. Federal agent seized phone of John Eastman, key figure in January 6 plan. Going down in the article, federal agents armed with a search warrant have seized the phone of John Eastman, the lawyer who advised former President Donald J. Trump on key elements of the effort to overturn the results of the 2020 election, according to a court filing by Mr. Eastman on Monday. The seizure of Mr. Eastman's phone is the latest evidence that the Justice Department is intensifying its sprawling criminal investigation into the various strands of Mr. Trump's efforts to remain in power after he was defeated for re-election. According to the filing, the seizure of Mr. Eastman's phone came on the same day the federal agents raided the home and seized the electronic devices of Jeffrey Clark, a former Justice Department official who was central to Mr. Trump's attempts to coerce the department's leaders into backing his false claims of fraud in the election. At the hearing, and here we go, coming full circle, Representative Liz Cheney, Republican of Wyoming, and the panel's vice chairwoman said that Ken Kulkowski, a Justice Department lawyer who was in contact with Mr. Eastman, also helped Mr. Clark draft a letter to Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia, stating falsely that the Justice Department had identified significant concerns about the outcome of the election in Georgia and several other states. The letter recommended that Mr. Kemp call a special session of state legislature to create, and here it is again, I'm going to prove to you, reference point after reference point, statement after statement, exactly why we made the statement we did, to create a separate state of electors supporting Donald J. Trump. This is clear as day now. It's undeniable what they're going after. Mr. Eastman was also instrumental in advising Mr. Trump to create purported slates of electors backing Mr. Trump in key swing states won by Mr. Biden. These false pro-Trump electors were intended to give Mr. Pence a quasi-legal rationale, told you, come back to Pence, right? For delaying or blocking the Electoral College certification on January 6th, or even trying to throw the election to the House of Representatives. Last week, a federal grand jury in Washington issued subpoenas to several people who prosecutors believe may have information about the so-called fake electoral plan, and hence the Dragnet has ensued. 50 plus people pulling information. I'm going to read the list of people, by the way, who's involved in this whole deal. It's the who's who of the Republican Party, shockingly, just before the midterms. Among those who received subpoenas were top Republicans in key swing states who served as pro-Trump electors, including Kelly Ward, the chairman of Arizona Republican Party, David Schaefer, the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party. The subpoenas, some of which have been obtained by the New York Times, show the prosecutors are seeking information about lawyers like Mr. Eastman, who were close to Mr. Trump during the chaotic post-election period. The subpoenas also seek information on other lawyers like Rudy Giuliani, who oversaw Mr. Trump's election challenges in general, and Kenneth, who wrote legal memos laying out the viability of the fake electoral plan. I'll give you a little bit more information. I'll take a few more key stories and fold them right in to this same storyline. This is getting crazy. No, it's beyond crazy. This is the end. If they continue forward and are successful with these subpoenas, Trump's indictment is imminent. FBI seizes phone of members of Congress who was Trump ally. You remember this story? I know you do. Representative Scott Perry filed articles of impeachment against Merrick Garland. Garland sends the FBI to retrieve his private cell phone, but it's a larger story than even that. Unfortunately, retribution should never be a part of politics, but this is what they call lawfare. Not warfare. This is lawfare. They're using the Department of Justice to get their sole and singular desired outcome, the end of Donald J. Trump. This morning, while traveling with my family, 3 FBI agents visited me, seized my cell phone. They made no attempt to contact my lawyer, who would have made arrangements for them to have my phone if that was their wish. I'm outraged, but it's no surprise. The FBI, under the direction of Merrick Garland's DOJ, would seize the phone of a sitting member of Congress, who, by the way, they believe was involved in the fake electoral plan. And these subpoenas go to show you why. I read the starting point, but I'm going to go into the deeper detail of those subpoenas. Trump aide subpoenaed. FBI seeks interviews related to January 6th investigation or the fake electoral plan. Trump allies who had FBI show up on their doorsteps or got subpoenas include big names. Let's go through the subpoenas now. Request for documents for the period October 1st, 2020. All documents and communications relating to the certification. Now, these are generally vague, but there is details that are crystal clear within them relating to any evidence tending to show there was fraud of any kind or relating to the 2020 presidential election, used or relied upon to support any claim of fraud in relation to the 2020 presidential election. I told you, big, bad, broad statements. Anything related to allegations of fraud in the 2020 election. Relating to any information conveyed to you or to any other person, challenging, rebutting, undercutting, tending to show, or claiming there was not fraud in the 2020 presidential election. That is a dragnet of everyone who disagreed. So you can't disagree. And right now, again, these don't mean these folks are being indicted. They're just being called in for information relating to any claim, anyone who made it, that the 2020 election had any fraud involved in it whatsoever. It's clear as day in the subpoenas. Submitted to, received from, or involved in any state, local, or federal public official relating to any claim of fraud in relation to... Can I just keep going through this? Because we could take a statement right out of there. Number 6. Relating to the signing, mailing, or delivering of any document purported to be a certificate certifying electoral votes in favor of Donald J. Trump. Relating to any effort, and number 7, plan or attempt to have any person serve as an elector in favor of Donald J. Trump. That's where it is. I can't make it any... I actually can make it a little clearer for you. To, from, with, or including any of the following, regardless of subject matter. Regardless of subject matter. Arizona. We could just pick out some of the big names, right? Kelly Ward, Michael Ward, Karen Fann, Thomas Lane, Samuel Moorhead, Greg Safton. We can continue, right? James Lamont, Anthony Kern. You recognize some of these names? Let's go to Georgia. James Carroll, Vicky Townsend, Daryl Moody, Brad Carver, David Schaefer. We'll continue. Michigan. Just read the names. Any information, any of the following, regardless of subject matter. They go to Pennsylvania, they go to Nevada. Well, those were all the states in contention, weren't they? I just absolutely speechless when I read this. Speechless. It's over. That's well over 50, right? And let's not forget a supplemental list. John Eastman, Kenneth Chesbrough, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell. For the period of October 1st, 2020 through January 20th, 2021, all documents and communication relating to any compensation, monetary or otherwise, provided to or received from any individual listed in those paragraphs. All compensation. Now they're going after the financial basis. They're going to bankrupt the Republican political system. Trump's post-election fundraising comes under scrutiny by the second grand jury, so anyone involved in this fake electoral discussion Anyone who made claims against the 2020 election, the grand jury is pulling in information, subpoena, Dragnet goes out, and then they go into the funding that those people received as a result of the claims that they made. A second grand jury, allegedly working separate but on the same storyline, is there to gut the monetary system and the support that Donald J. Trump would need to ever run again. So if for whatever reason the train comes off the tracks on their first grand jury, the second one will just strip the money right out from underneath them, and it is game over, and it is done. You are witnessing one of the most egregious political lawfare maneuvers you have ever seen in your lifetime, and it happened in 24 hours, silently. Silently. They made you think it was 2, then maybe 12, then maybe 35. Now it's over 50. What's the actual number? Don't worry, we'll be here to report to you on it. Darn it, this is not the way you want to continue to go into any week, any weekend, any day. They're not stopping. This is desperation you're watching. A full onslaught of a political opposition party is occurring before your very eyes. We love you all. Please take us up on the offer. Get to Restricted Republic. We want to continue to bring you these developments because we know no one is going into this level of detail for you. But it is imperative you understand the detail so you have a factual basis when discussing this with others to assure they understand what's happening to this great republic of the United States of America. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.